Alrighty, so welcome to the Kiwi Chiropractic podcast. My name is Andrew McCracken, and today's a very special episode because we're doing it in English again, lucky for me. And I have with me...
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm a long-term practice member, I would say.
Yep, so sorry to throw you on that. But yeah, so Julia's a long-term practice member. We're going to talk about today why you came to chiropractic. You're a mother of 2 kids, which you weren't when you first came here.
Yes.
What was your experience? What were the challenges? What was the good stuff? And kind of see where it all goes to from there. So maybe we should start at the beginning. So do you want to talk about maybe why you first came to chiropractic?
Yes. I first came to chiropractic because I was very stressed at work. Mm-hmm. And I always had like the typical issues, I think. Neck and shoulder problems. Mm-hmm. Mainly shoulder for me, I think. And you had a presentation at our company. Oh, okay. So I was like, okay, I should go and check it out.
Did it come from that, did it? It might have, you're right.
Yeah, because maybe. I was convinced by the speech you gave about the nervous system. And I was like, okay, let me try it out.
Okay, a good speech then. Nice.
And I also had I felt I had hip problems because I always had this pain in my hip, which I think was not even from my hip, but it felt like this. So whenever I went running, and maybe not during the run, but afterwards, I had this issues. So I came here, and then we did the
analysis.
Yeah,
exactly.
And started the how do you call it? The therapy, maybe. Yeah. So I came here two times a week, and it really helped me. So neck and shoulder problems, basically, they were gone instantly, I would say.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And then I think what made a big difference for me was adjusting the hip every time. And then I also figured that whenever I had this hip pain, my body could somehow deal with it a little bit better.
Nice.
So because when I also have it when I do yoga, afterwards, because I think I'm not super well aligned all the time during yoga. But then I felt afterwards I had the pain again, and then I came here and I felt like my body could adjust it a little bit better. So
and that's just. As you're saying that stuff, I'm like, oh my God, she understands chiropractic. We need more people like this. You're like, the nerve system, my body can handle the stress better. It's adjusting itself better. So yeah, this is just great. I'm just like, this is what we need. More people understanding what we do. So this is great.
Yeah, and so then I actually never stopped. So I'm still here. And of course, I'm not coming 2 times a week, but I'm pretty frequently, I would say. And I had a bigger break end of last year because I was thinking, okay, I'll let my body, or I wanna see how my body responds to my life when I'm not coming here. But I felt like after 3 months or so, I felt like, okay, I have to come back because, as I said, I have 2 kids, so I carry them a lot. I have a lot of pressure on my upper body, I would say, and it's also stressful in a lot of other senses. So there's always a lot of stress on me at the moment. So it really helps me to, I think, regulate better then.
Yeah, and that's a really common question is like, if I go to the chiropractor, do I have to keep going for my whole life? And it's like, no, you don't. Like the idea is to hopefully get you to an optimization phase where you can come once a month or something and it's all good. But theoretically, yes, you could stop going to the chiropractor if you didn't have an abnormal amount of stress on your body. And it's just more the case, like you said, with the 2 kids and stuff, that in the modern times, the stress is higher than what our bodies are designed for. And it could even be things like looking at a cell phone and all of that kind of stuff. So, but you also used chiropractic. So you first came here in 2019, I think we talked about.
Yes.
Wow, that's a long time ago. That must have been like, what room was I in the practice? Do you remember?
Yeah, that one.
The one
old, like the big old one.
The big old one, yeah. Man, it's a long time ago.
Yeah, and then all the other kind of practitioners, I don't know what it was, were still here, and it was all very different.
Yeah, it was a Praxisgemeinschaft, and we had the small room, well, I had the small room in the back.
Yeah.
And then, now we have the whole thing, and going from there. It's pretty cool. So you also, for me, like when I think of your story, I think it was also quite big using chiropractic through like the pregnancy and birth and stuff. Maybe because there is a lot of women out there who maybe would be like, what, you use chiropractic for pregnancy, for birth? Like, why? Do you want to maybe say a few words on that from your perspective?
Yeah, so I continued coming here also during pregnancy because I still had the issues with my neck, and because I was still working then, of course, and then I was sitting a lot, and it was still stressful, work itself, so I still had the issues sometimes. So I came here because of that, but then I also thought, okay, it might help during pregnancy because I also saw all the posters, of course.
We try.
Yeah, and then of course I was a little bit afraid in the beginning because you also always have to, or at some point you have to be on your belly somehow.
Yeah, true.
And I was like in the beginning during the first treatments, I was always like, is this really good? Does it harm my baby?
Yeah. Is it safe?
Yeah, is it safe? Yeah. Because I had 2 miscarriages before, so I was super sensitive in a lot of senses, I would say. And does it harm my baby? Will it help me? Will it help the baby? So I was a little bit unsure. But then I just came here, and you have this pillow, or also these new,
I don't know, drop pieces in the table or something.
So it felt really good.
Yeah.
I was always afraid of the hip adjustment.
Yep.
This feels unsafe, but I mean, I just came here so often, and then I got used to it.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, maybe I should trust this guy at some point.
You have a lot of checkups at the doctor as well, and I never saw any.
What, they came from a chiropractor? Got fucked up by a chiropractor?
No, it was all good all the time. So I was like, okay, I'll just come. And then I was, when I got closer to birth, I was like, okay, it can really help me, I think, because if my hips are aligned, or if all of my body is aligned, then it will help the baby go through the birth canal. Is it
canal? Yep, birth canal. Yeah, good.
Much easier and quicker, hopefully.
Yeah.
And I came here like once a week. I think I started 8 weeks before giving birth. I came here once a week to get adjusted because it made me feel good and safe, and it made me feel prepared for giving birth, because that was like before my first birthing experience. I was, of course, very nervous, and I didn't know what to expect and how contractions would feel like, and how long it would take, and how painful it would be. But I tried to prepare mentally for it, I would say. So to really prepare for surrendering to the pain, kind of embracing this experience, and really maybe looking forward to it as an experience rather than the worst day in your life, as a lot of women fear it to be. So I wanted to make sure that I'm really, really prepared. So I came here prepared mentally, and then I had a beautiful first birthing experiences. It was a quick birth, 4 hours, very, very I mean, easy is probably the wrong word, but it felt really good. It was a really, really great experience for me. Yeah. And then the second birth was even easier. I mean, obviously a second birth, but I did the same. So I came here every week before that. And also my sons are just 20 months apart. So it was a lot of, I think, pressure on my body, because I was pregnant, then I gave birth, then I had my first, I was caring for my first son, then I was pregnant again, started working again, still had to carry my first son a lot, because he started walking with 18 months, so it was just 2 months before the next baby came. So I carried him a long time during the pregnancy as well.
Really good for the hips.
Yes, and I felt pressured a lot, because there was so much stress on my body, and then the weight from the pregnancy and everything. So I felt during the second pregnancy I felt much more tired, so it really helped me coming here to get adjusted, to feel better, to feel more aligned, to feel, and I also had the feeling that I felt more energetic after coming here. So that really helped me. And then the second birth was amazing as well. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. So that's awesome. So thanks for I haven't paid her to say that, not yet, but thanks. But there's so many things that I want to unpack a little bit, which is, for example, I think a big question for mums, get pregnant. Oh, I better be careful. I need to. Maybe I think there's even things like you shouldn't go in the sauna or something, which some people say is a myth, some people say is real. I don't know. But is chiropractic safe from day one of pregnancy? The answer is yes. I think a lot of people assume you're doing these massive movements and it's like, oh, there's too much torsion in the tummy and all this kind of stuff. But it's if it's done correctly, perfectly fine. And what I would say is it's safer for your baby when you get adjusted, because then your nerve system is working, and what's growing that baby? Well, it's your nerve system. You're growing a whole other nerve system. So that's a massive thing. And I remember when we first started the practice, like in New Zealand, I think most people know that it's safe. But I had one lady, and she kind of disappeared for a year and a half, and then she came back. I said, "Oh, how you doing?" She said, "Oh, I'm doing great, thanks." Yeah. I said, "Oh, where'd you go? What happened?" She said, "Oh, I gave birth and had a baby." I was like, "Oh no, I forgot to tell you." So that's why we have the posters and everything in the practice. And then one of the other things, I guess, is some mothers, when we put them on the side to do that adjustment, love it. And for some, it is quite scary because it can feel like there's a bit of pressure on your tummy. And so that's where there are also other techniques as well. But I think I asked you and you were always like, "Oh, yeah, just do it anyway if it helps." It's fine. Classic German attitude. But cool. So birth was a beautiful experience. What is your advice to other mothers? Because there is those two narratives where you should be scared of birth and it's a terrible or a scary experience. I would suggest, from my man perspective here, of like, hey, if it's a natural thing, maybe there's a chance we can make it a beautiful thing or have more possibility of it being a great thing. Do you have any tips for mums? Because I know you have a lot of mums as well.
Yeah, so from my experience and also from what I thought before my first birthing experiences, that our bodies, we as women, are designed for giving birth.
Yeah,
that's what I always thought. Yeah. And then I thought, okay, when our bodies are designed to do it, then of course we can do it.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to be afraid of. It's rather something that we can look forward to as regards to a very crazy and beautiful experience, something that you've never done in your whole life before, and that really, I think it made me somehow humble to how our bodies are designed. I mean, anyhow, growing a baby is crazy, it's magic, and then also giving birth to this baby is a magical experience. So I was never really afraid of it. I was, of course, I wasn't looking forward to the pain. But in the end, actually, the pain made me feel more, or it made me realize that this was a crazy, the biggest event in my life so far. And to me, the pain was important to, in the end, realize that it's this or such a big event. So I was never really afraid of it, and I would, I think, strongly suggest to not be afraid of giving birth, but rather looking forward to it, and then also thinking or preparing for how can I prepare myself for the pain maybe, or for the fear that might arise in certain moments during this birthing experience. And this is also kind of trusting yourself and trusting your body. And if you make sure your body is aligned and well adjusted and you just feel good, I think that's one part to it that will help a lot. But then also really thinking about how can I make sure to really embrace this as a very good and very natural experience. And in the end, be really proud of myself for doing it. I think that just helps a lot to have a good experience in the end.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing story. And when I think back to when I first met you, and I think back to somebody who was who was a really successful go-getter, independent woman in the business world as well. Do you think that having those births and stuff kind of maybe somehow shifted your beliefs and values about your body, or something like this, from perhaps maybe a little bit disconnected from your body to, do you feel more connected now to your body than before? I would just be interested on your thoughts on that, because that's a journey somehow I see from a lot of people, is working on the laptop, and so you're connecting to the work, you're connecting to those kinds of things. And then I think also what's nice for women is you get actually a chance to have a very, very natural experience, which can then actually shape a lot of the beliefs you have about yourself, your body, and your health. I don't know if that's...
And that's a good question. I think I never thought about it like this. Yeah. What I can say is I was never more proud of my body than after giving birth, and also after after giving birth, but then also after the first 2 weeks after the birth, because it's incredible what a body can do. And also you give birth, it's crazy exhausting, it's very, very painful, but then right after the baby is out, you feel amazing, and it's like all the pain is gone, and it's like, I know everyone is saying it, but it's so crazy. And then everything else that the body is capable of, I mean, producing milk for the baby, so you can just feed a baby for 2 years or longer if you want, with your own body. And that's, I would say I'm more proud of my body. Do I feel more connected? I don't know. I wouldn't say that, because I actually felt a little bit disconnected, because obviously your body looks different and it also feels different.
A lot of changes,
I think also because of the hormonal changes. But yes, I'm prouder than I was before.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's super cool. And it is amazing just to remember how magnificent the human body is. And, as long as that magnificence can be expressed, it goes well, which is fantastic. But we were talking before the podcast about, when one of your children was a little bit late walking.
Yeah.
And do you want to tell that story? Because it's quite cool. And
because I'm coming here so frequently, I was thinking, okay, I can also bring my babies, because I also always saw children and babies in the practice. So I made sure to have them checked and adjusted, I think, from the very early...
From a couple of weeks old,
I think 4 or 6 weeks old.
Yeah.
So that was good, but my 2 sons, I guess the second one is the same, but so the first son, he only started walking when he was 18 months. Yeah. So that's pretty late. I mean, it's normal as such, but there are a lot of children or babies that start walking earlier. So I was always a bit worried and impatient, I would say. But then I took him here, and honestly, like 3 or 4 days later, he started walking, and that was also
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was super cool. And then with my second son, I'm also taking him here sometimes, but let's see.
We're working on him.
But
that story, that actually, one of my favorite stories from practice was a kid who was like, I think it was like 2.5, and he never crawled.
Oh.
Had some serious issues, right? And adjusted him first time. Okay, second adjustment, literally after the adjustment, he stands up and starts walking, which was crazy. So, but that I mean, it sounds crazy, but actually, when you get adjusted, science has already shown you're about 12% stronger as an adult. So you actually can drive 12% more information into your muscles. As a kid, maybe it's more, I don't know. But then you can imagine if the kid can then stabilize their core a bit more and they're a bit more coordinated, of course that would lead to a higher chance of going over that final hurdle and starting to walk or something like that. So yeah, which is kind of groovy.
And I don't know if that's due to chiropractic.
We're not going to take credit for everything.
Of course. No, but our second son, in the beginning, he had a lot of issues with his tummy, and he was screaming so many hours a day. It was very exhausting. So I also came here because of that, because I was thinking maybe he's in pain, maybe I don't know, but let's check.
Yeah.
And
I think I remember that screaming actually.
Yeah, he was screaming like 5-6 hours, like full hours a day, and I was just, oh my god. So then I took him here, got him checked, and he didn't really stop screaming, but he's a super good sleeper. So he's sleeping through since he's 2.5 months.
Nice.
And I don't know if it's anyhow connected, but it never really changed. So of course he has better days and worse, of course, but in general he's a very good sleeper, and that also, I mean, makes a huge difference for us as parents. But I'm thinking about that because I myself experienced that I always had issues falling asleep. So I had huge sleeping issues all my life. And then I came here because of my neck and shoulders.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest benefit, and I only realized it a little bit later because, as I said, I started coming here end of 2019, then 2020, COVID hit, and everything got, I mean, it was so quiet all of a sudden, so not so much stress in terms of work events and traveling and stuff, but not so like the full life kind of slowed down, unfortunately, but it also came with some benefits, of course. So I was like, okay, I can sleep better. I don't have any issues falling asleep again anymore. So, but then when life kind of came back and COVID was over, I realized I still don't have these issues. So I was like, okay, maybe that's also connected, because honestly, since I come here, I never had these sleeping issues again, and that makes my life a lot better.
That's awesome. And you were saying you would like for 2 or 3 hours you wouldn't be able to get to sleep.
Yeah, I was lying awake 3-4 hours sometimes, and then of course that generates a lot more stress. Then I was like, okay, I can sleep for 3 or 4 hours now, so I really have to go to sleep now. But it just couldn't, and I don't have it anymore.
Yeah, that's amazing. So how could that possibly be? For example, your brainstem, which is near the top of your neck, is really easily compressed and twisted from neck problems or from subluxations in the spine. So it would make sense if you can clear that out. Just again, that magnificence in the body just works better. You know, I mean, there is a saying in chiropractic: we don't take any credit, right? So we don't make any claims. You know, we don't. Oh yeah, we fix this, fix that. No, we're like you said many times today already. Let's get it checked. Let's check the spine, see if there's any interference, disbalances, and if there is, let's get it adjusted, because the body is going to work better. Yeah. How much better? Don't know. It depends a lot on how much stress you have as well on the body. So, that's really cool. Well, hey, look, thanks so much for coming in today. It's been awesome. And until next time, guys. See you later. Have a good one.